Welcome to the My AZ Lawyers Law Firm podcast, providing informative resources on criminal law and sex crimes so you can protect yourself from false accusations. The attorneys at My AZ Lawyers have the knowledge and expertise needed for your case and will give you the tools to protect your rights. This podcast series is reviewed and approved by attorney Candace Callan.
In this episode, we'll talk about the statutes of limitations surrounding criminal offenses in the state of Arizona. A statute of limitations in a criminal offense context is the amount of time that the prosecution has to bring charges against the accused. Statutes of limitations can vary from state to state, and the statute of limitations could be longer if the crime is also considered a federal offense. Laws could also change and retroactively extend a statute of limitations that has already expired. Additionally, the civil statutes of limitations for the financial damages surrounding the offense could differ from the criminal statutes of limitations. If you're facing misdemeanor or felony charges in Arizona, please listen to the following information to learn more about the criminal statutes of limitations. Arizona's statutes of limitations, or time limitations, are defined by Arizona Revised Statutes Section 13-107. If a prosecution is initiated against a defendant but dismissed, the state has 6 months to reinitiate the case, or it will be considered expired. It's very important to mention that some offenses have no time limit in Arizona. Some offenses are so serious that the state doesn't prescribe a statute of limitations to them. Homicide and conspiracy to commit homicide are both offenses without statutes of limitations in Arizona. Sexual offenses listed in Chapter 14 of the Arizona Criminal Code that are considered Class II felonies also have no time limit. The same can be said for violations of Chapter 35.1, which covers sexual exploitation of children. Also, violent sexual assault, as defined by ARS Section 13-1423, has no statute of limitations. Neither do violations of ARS Section 13-2308.1 for terrorism. ARS Section 13-2308.3 for unlawful use of an infectious biological substance or radiological agent, and ARS Section 13-3212 for child sex trafficking don't have statute of limitations as well. The prosecution is also not bound by statutes of limitations for misuse of public monies or a felony involving falsification or attempt to commit falsification of public records. There are other classes of felonies with different statute of limitation times. For instance, most Arizona felonies, classes 2 through 6, have a 7-year statute of limitations. Class 6 felonies are the least serious, while Class 2 felonies are the most serious besides capital offenses. On the other hand, misdemeanor offenses have a 1-year statute of limitations, and petty offenses have a 6-month statute of limitations in Arizona. But as always, there are exceptions. There are exceptions to ARS Section 13-107 that prosecutors can utilize to keep charges from being dismissed in court. Under this phrasing, a statute of limitations has not begun running if an exception applies. A statute of limitations doesn't run when the accused flees the state or hides from investigation within the state. The statute of limitations doesn't run for serious offenses when the perpetrator's identity is unknown. Serious offenses are defined by ARS Section 13-706. Section 706 categorizes them into serious offenses and violent or aggravated felonies. Serious offenses include first and second-degree murder, manslaughter, aggravated assault resulting in serious injury or using a deadly weapon, sexual assault, dangerous crimes against children, home arson, armed robbery, first-degree burglary, kidnapping, sexual conduct with a minor under 15 years old, and child sex trafficking. Violent and aggravated felonies include first and second-degree murder, aggravated assault resulting in serious injury or using a deadly weapon, dangerous or deadly assault by a prisoner, committing assault with the intent to riot or participate in a riot, drive-by shooting, discharging a firearm at an occupied residential structure, kidnapping, sexual conduct with a minor that is a Class 2 felony, sexual assault, child molestation, continuous sexual abuse of a child, violent sexual assault, first-degree burglary in an occupied residential structure, arson of an occupied structure, arson of an occupied jail or prison facility, armed robbery, participating in a street gang, terrorism, taking a child for prostitution, child sex trafficking, commercial sexual exploitation of minor, sexual exploitation of a minor, and unlawful introduction of a disease or parasite. You must also know that there are other defenses against serious offenses. If you've been charged with a serious crime, succeeding in a statute of limitations defense may be unlikely. It could be one challenge you present to the prosecution's charges against you, but you will probably need more to avoid prison time. First, you could challenge the admissibility of evidence. Older cases mean older evidence exhibits, which could be more susceptible to validity challenges in court. Evidence samples from older offenses may have been tested using technology that is now considered antiquated. If the form of testing previously used on the sample is now considered unreliable, the defendant should request retesting or testing by an independent laboratory. Eyewitness evidence from a crime that is years old is also known to be unreliable. Next, know there could be Fourth Amendment violations. The Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution protects against unreasonable government searches and seizures. In general, the police must have reasonable suspicion to stop and investigate a suspect for a crime, and probable cause to place that suspect under arrest. If the police violated your constitutional rights while investigating you or arresting you for a crime, much of the evidence they obtained to use against you will likely be inadmissible in court, weakening the prosecution's case against you. Another defense strategy would be a charge reduction. Convincing the prosecution that they don't have a strong enough case to pursue it at its current level may be a key part of your defense lawyer's strategy. If your felony offense is reduced to a misdemeanor, this could also reduce the statute of limitations. Even if it doesn't get your case dismissed through the statute of limitations, the mandatory penalty ranges decrease greatly for less serious charges. Lastly, there is your alibi and innocence. Sometimes in the case of prosecution of older crimes, the wrong defendant can be charged. Without DNA evidence attaching the defendant to the crime, it can be difficult to disprove an alibi from years past. Witnesses' memories can fade, and other evidence can be lost or damaged. But don't assume that you will be declared not guilty at trial just because it is the truth. Hire a defense attorney who cares about your case. Remember, you should consider a private defender if you're facing serious time. Any person in Arizona is entitled to their choice of legal counsel, whether that be a public defender or an attorney they hire on their behalf. If your charges evade Arizona's statute of limitations, there is a strong possibility you are up against significant time behind bars. It could take any combination of the defenses described previously, as well as negotiation, plea bargaining, and other legal strategies to eliminate or mitigate the negative impact these charges can have on your life. There are plenty of public defenders who are intelligent and passionate about their cases, but you won't get to browse through a catalog and read their reviews when the court makes an assignment. With all that's on the line, you may want to at least see what other options are available in your choice of legal counsel. At My AZ Lawyers, our experienced Arizona criminal defense attorneys are assertive and experienced when it comes to defending against criminal prosecution, even in the case of highly serious charges. Hiring a quality defense attorney could save you from an avalanche of life-altering repercussions that could come from a criminal conviction, or even an investigation or trial going on for too long. For your free consultation with a member of our defense team, call our office at 480-448-9800 or visit us online at myazlawyers.com.
Thank you for listening to the My AZ Lawyers Law Firm podcast. Facing criminal charges in Arizona is very serious and requires the legal representation and guidance of an experienced criminal defense attorney. At My AZ Lawyers, we'll aggressively defend your case to the best of our abilities. Contact My AZ Lawyers today to get a free evaluation and find the peace of mind you deserve.